Awesome view up here. You can see the lights all the way from Jersey. So you're not hungry. How about a drink?
The negatives. I drop you.
Well, the thing is, I'm not really scared of heights.
A war veteran named Ben Riley, who had acquired extraordinary superpowers while serving in the First World War, returns home to New York and decides to start a new life away from the violence of war. But once he settles down, he notices the increasing crime in the city he cherishes. Hence, Ben decides to use his special powers to help those who cannot protect themselves and quietly takes it upon himself to fight against crime, appearing in places where he is needed most and soon. Because of the spider-like abilities, he's dubbed Spider by the curious public. Then, Ben meets the love of his life, Ruby, who soon becomes his fiancée and gives his life meaning and a future to look forward to. Unfortunately, sometime later, this is all ripped away from him when Ruby is attacked by a crazed criminal. And despite his best attempts to use his special powers to save the woman he loved, Ruby dies, leaving Ben utterly shattered. Soon after, Ben starts to resent his special powers, which, despite having saved strangers on numerous occasions, failed him when he needed them the most, and abandons his spider persona. Feeling lost and angry, Ben opens a small private investigation office to make a living and settles into a quiet existence, which is quite contrary to his past. 5 years later, one night, Ben follows his target, a man named James Jimmy Addison, to a bar and carefully watches him from a distance while having a few drinks. After a few hours, the suspicious Jimmy quickly exits the bar.
You keep following me. It won't end the way you want it to.
Ben starts chasing James, who runs as fast as he can to get away, but is soon hit by a car that seems to have come out of nowhere.
Sorry, pal. Hey, don't do it, Addison.
Ben continues his run and soon finds the duo.
I tried to warn you.
Oh.
Now you're gonna burn.
As an explosion ensues, Ben drags the man who had hit him with his car only a few minutes ago to safety, goes through his wallet to learn his identity, and is surprised to learn he's also a private investigator named Patrick Donegal.
That man was completely on fire.
Who hired you? Guy named Winston?
Yeah.
The next morning, Ben goes to his office and updates his secretary, Janet.
Addison's dead.
You open?
No.
Yes.
It's about my wife. $10 a day.
Plus expenses.
Later, Ben meets with his journalist friend Joe Robbie Robertson.
Some other mobster is finally making a move on Silvermane. The old bastard escaped.
I can't help but wonder what Ruby would think if she heard you talking like that.
At the mention of her name, Ben is momentarily transported back to the fateful day and winces as he relives his fiancée's last few horrific minutes, but somehow manages to keep his emotions in check and concludes his meeting. Ben then calls Patrick and sets up a meeting to discuss the events of the previous night.
Feels like that could be trouble coming down the tracks or an opportunity worth pursuing.
That evening, while reading Robbie's article in the evening newspaper, which announces that Silvermane had survived the fire at his house, detailing the horror Silvermane had inflicted on the city since the disappearance of Spider, and warns everyone to be wary of his rampage, Ben surveils the woman at the Red Cliff. Then, Ben follows her to the top floor, sees her arguing with her suspected lover, and using his special gift, intervenes to stop the man from attacking her and flees the area. The next morning, Ben rushes to his office to meet Winston, the man who hired him to investigate Jimmy.
You told me you know where Addison is, so take your money and talk.
The other PI you hired told me you offered him 50, so I'm not telling you for a penny less than 200. How about 38 reasons?
As planned, Patrick and Ben follow Winston when he leaves the office, and he inadvertently leads them to Silvermane.
Pay him whatever he wants. The boys are convinced. Find Addison.
Then, reflecting on the surprising turn of events, Ben returns to his office and finds Janet developing the pictures he took at the Red Cliff.
Am I crazy, or is that the goddamn mayor of New York?
Like I said, your wife was alone the entire night. You're a very lucky man. Now go home.
Good move. Hoping to get some insight, Ben meets Robbie at a hospital, where he's researching his next story.
Say, does this look like a guy who died in a fire to you? James Addison.
Shit.
Then, Ben searches for Patrick, hoping to get to him before others do. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to Ben, Patrick is captured by Silvermane's men.
He's dead. Sorry, boss. Do you know? I shot him dead.
Silvermane then brutally murders Patrick and proceeds to leave.
Go to the morgue. Make sure Addison is really dead.
Elsewhere, Ben goes to the alcove and, while waiting to meet with Patrick, quietly enjoys Kat's performance.
Do you mind?
Please.
I'm trying to help you. I thought you might find that useful. And perhaps tomorrow we can discuss the price of the negatives over lunch.
Then, as Ben leaves the alcove, he is followed by Flint. An intense fight ensues, and Ben beats Flint and knocks him out. However, he's soon confused to see Flint, who is now covered by sandy patches and starts transforming. Flint then gets up, attacks Ben, and throws him off the roof, which forces Ben to use his gifts to return and gain the upper hand.
Are you okay?
What happened?
What the hell is this?
Just leave us alone, please.
Here are the negatives on the house.
The next morning, still confused by what had transpired the night before, Ben updates Janet. Ben invites Kat into his office to discuss the case.
Are we going to talk about the fact that he turned into some kind of sand monster?
What I know, she knows. So do you have any clues as to what's causing this to happen?
Elsewhere, Silvermane meets with Winston at his hotel.
All due respect, you don't pay me what you pay me for my charm or disposition.
If you could set yourself on fire like Addison, then you have a shot.
Meanwhile, from his apartment, Robbie calls his old job.
It's the biggest story in years. There hasn't been anything this big since the spider.
It'll be worth his while.
Later, Ben goes to Flint's apartment, cautiously sneaks in, and as he looks around, he finds an old picture showing that both Flint and James had served in World War I together. Then, as Ben reflects on this discovery, he hears a knock on the door from Winston and hides in the closet, from where he uses his gifts to hide evidence of his presence, and he closes the door firmly using his spider webs.
And I got a pretty good idea why.
You think he got a new lady? That why he ain't coming to poker lately?
That evening, Ben goes to the alcove to speak to Kat.
What about this guy? You ever come around the alcove, visit Marco? So's the PI that shot him.
What can I say?
Unbeknownst to anyone, Flint stands on the roof of a building and watches Ben and Kat from a distance. That evening, as Ben returns to his apartment, he's ambushed by Silvermane's men, who then proceed to take him to their boss.
Where'd he go? Check the side. The boss ain't gonna like this.
Yeah, he wanted us to bring him in.
The next day, while attending the mayor's, Alfred Morris's re-election speech in which he promises to end prohibition, Robbie and Ben catch up.
There goes his audience.
As God is my witness, you'll never go thirsty again.
Then, to do some more research on his story, Robbie visits a dilapidated neighborhood looking for James's wife, Vera Addison, and meets James's old friend, Lonnie Lincoln.
You're looking for Vera Addison? Where she is?
How did he die?
There was an explosion, and do you know where I can find her?
Try the Jeffrey Hotel.
Meanwhile, Silvermane's men visit Janet at the office.
Janet, did they hurt you?
I care about you, Ben, but not enough to die for you.
Terrified by what happened to Janet, Ben spends the whole day alone in his office, thinking about Ruby and her death, and promises to protect Janet from facing the same fate. He then spends hours trying to come up with a solution to get Silvermane off his back and keep the people closest to him safe, to no avail. Hence, after hours of reflection, Ben admits to himself that the only way to put a stop to the most notorious gangster in town was by becoming Spider, and heads to his old apartment to retrieve his special box.
Hiya, I'm Pete with maintenance. Sorry about the leak. It'll be no problem. The bathroom's that way.
Then, Ben breaks the bathroom wall, finds the box he had hidden 5 years ago, and quickly disappears through the window. Elsewhere, Robbie goes to the hotel to speak to Vera.
I just told you your husband died.
People grieve in different ways. James was a lot of things, but not the type to cut and run. As far as I'm concerned, James dug his own grave and now he's lying in it.
A couple of days later, still sad by what he heard, Lonnie updates Flint.
Jimmy Addison's dead.
What?
Wanted to know who hired him to kill Silvermane.
Later, Silvermane is escorted to personally supervise the new deal he made, and as he approaches the docks, his men are ambushed by Spider, who shows up out of nowhere and neutralizes each of them quickly.
In a while.
You've done well without me around. If you mess with Riley or any of his people, I will kill you.
Ben returns to his office, and overwhelmed by the whole ordeal, he sits back to process everything. But before he can, he receives a call from Robbie. Ben remains seated for a few more hours, disheartened by the turn of events that led him to inadvertently rescue his enemy from the clutches of the law, scolding himself for not being more patient. The next morning, Ben invites Janet back to the office and assures her that she has nothing to worry about. Soon, Robbie joins them, and they start discussing the recent case.
This guy couldn't have served directly with Addison and Flint.
This discussion is interrupted by an aggressive knock on the door by Silvermane's men, which shocks Janet, who proceeds to get her gun.
I believe you owe the lady an apology. Come on, Riley, I've got a job for you.
I'll take...
Same somebody tipped off the cops about my booze shipment. People lie, Riley. Only money tells the truth.
Hoping to understand his new client's cryptic message, Ben inspects the retainer money he gave him closely and finds more than he bargained for.
Bingo. Crafty marks all of his bills.
Nice catch, Ben. Ben then goes to the hospital to learn more about the raid.
Jones? What the hell did Jones say? I get orders like everybody else. Think you can say no to the chief of police?
After all, patrolman only goes where he's told, right?
As someone understands how it works.
Elsewhere, Robbie goes to the dilapidated neighborhood hoping to interview Lonnie, but is soon shocked to see police officers suddenly swarming the neighborhood to announce their orders of clearing the neighborhood and start beating everyone. Robbie's journalist instinct kicks in, and instead of fleeing terrified, he hides and takes pictures of the brutal ordeal. A few minutes later, Robbie gets the shock of his life when he sees Lonnie, who suddenly transforms and displays super strength, defending himself in his neighborhood from the ambush by attacking the officers. Before he can process what he's witnessing, Robbie is even more shocked to see Flint use his powers to come to Lonnie's aid and take on the numerous officers. Keeping his shock in check, Robbie captures everything. Elsewhere, with the help of Janet, Ben locates Carmody's apartment, heads there, and despite the old man's resistance, barges in.
Nobody hired me. I'm a smut merchant. Got a tip from Morris's office that he scheduled a meeting with the girl.
Is there a back way out of here?
Then, realizing that Kat plays a bigger role in the case than he first thought, Ben goes to speak with her.
You didn't like hearing that.
The part where you're not doing the job I hired you for, or the part where you're working for Silvermane?
And what about the mayor?
What about him?
Anything you want to tell me?
Sure. He'll get rid of 50 if it means he's sure he's got the one.
Ben leaves the apartment, and now certain that Kat is at the center of everything, stands at the door debating with himself about whether he should warn her to be careful, and, after a few indecisive moments, reluctantly leaves. Then, Ben runs into Winston and his partner Gio.
I'm gonna find the rat and put him in the ground.
There's nothing worse than a man that's only loyal to money.
Does Winston suspect Kat? However, unbeknownst to Winston, Ben's reasons for demanding to be paid are far from financial. Once he's alone, Ben inspects the dollar bill and, just like he guessed, finds it marked. Later, Ben returns to the office and finds Janet and Robbie discussing the case.
You're saying Flint Marco was there?
He sure was.
That photo Ben found was from the day they were rescued.
The next day, after shaking off the man surveilling him with the help of his young friend Frankie, who distracts the man, Ben visits Vera.
I'm not interested in talking. I wasn't with the last guy, and I'm not now. You pay me $1,000, and I'm gone.
1,000?
Later, Ben goes to Silvermane's hotel to speak to him.
You'd be surprised at how much people will fight for what little they have. Whoever the rat turns out to be, you can't be emotional about it, even if it breaks your heart.
Then, Ben carefully closes the balcony door and follows Silvermane back inside. Elsewhere, Robbie goes to see his old boss and presents him with the first-person account of his latest story.
The public can't get enough of this stuff. The papers will sell like crazy. But you keep bringing me more like this, we talk about bringing you back full-time.
Ben calls Frankie to his apartment and gives him an important assignment.
I want you to be cool. Hey, I need to rely on you, Frankie. Can I rely on you?
Ben then dons his spider suit and heads off to the hotel, discreetly opens the balcony door, locks he had covered with his spider webs, and enters Silvermane's room. Once inside, Ben carefully opens the safe and steals some marked dollar bills. However, before he can leave, Silvermane hears the balcony doors swinging and jolts up.
Boys! Hey, boss?
Think it was a win. We'll check it again.
Luckily, Ben hides on the ceiling, evades notice, and quickly escapes. Elsewhere, Kat returns to her apartment and is delighted to see Flint waiting for her.
What was happening to you?
It's all right.
Care about what you think you owe him. I just want us to be together.
Flint suddenly starts transforming into sand, becoming aggressive.
There's no turning it off.
The next morning, from his apartment, Ben counter-surveils the men following him.
I need you at the alcove today. I want you to keep an eye on Cat Hardy for me.
Meanwhile, Robbie reads a newspaper article and loses his mind in anger.
I never called them monsters. He took my name and put it on a bunch of lies.
Ben visits Val, pays her the $1,000 she requested, and, as agreed, orders her to leave the city. However, Winston and Gio surveil him from a distance and take note of everything he does. Then, Ben calls Kat, schedules to see her in a few minutes, but as he hurries off, two men stop him.
I want a line to the Spider. Whatever your deal is with him, that's your business.
Didn't he bankroll your first campaign?
Just get me in touch with the Spider. Make yourself a new friend.
Ben then heads to Kat's apartment building.
Where the hell you been? She took a cab to Penn Station 10 minutes ago.
Why are you here?
You really aren't a very good detective, are you?
Before Ben can learn the truth, Winston and his men arrive and proceed to haul him away.
Should have known you were in it together. Now the boss can take care of both of you.
The group then meets Silverman, who has prepared a freshly dug grave.
Looks like Riley was in on it.
The guy with all the answers.
This is Addison's widow. She's also the only person that knows who hired her dearly deceased husband.
It's a good story. I'll give you that. You got proof?
Where does your money come from, Winston?
Suddenly, everything flashes in Winston's mind, and he realizes what must have happened.
Only money tells the truth.
Here's him.
Before he can even finish his sentence, Winston is fatally shot by Silvermane and falls back into the grave. Later that night, as if nothing out of the ordinary had happened, Ben and Silvermane head to the alcove and watch Kat's performance.
Did you use someone like you on my payroll?
Why is he running raids on your booze shipments? Beautiful song. You wrote it?
Enjoy the spot whiskey. We're going up a notch.
A terrified Kat goes to her apartment and bawls her eyes out, thinking about how close she came to death. The next morning, Silvermane visits Kat.
Truth is, I was up all night. Too much adrenaline from yesterday. Winston was the rat, but that doesn't answer what you were doing at the train station.
Meanwhile, at the office, while Janet tutors Frankie, she receives a call.
3 p.m. The Calypso. Find Ben, give him this.
After receiving Kat's message through Frankie, Ben meets up with her.
He wanted to know why you were with me at the train station last night.
And you said? Why'd you try to kill Silverman?
I asked you first.
I saved your life.
One night, Silvermane tipped me more money than I'd ever seen in my life. Could have just scared him off. But Silvermane had him killed.
Unbeknownst to the duo, Flint overhears their exchange from a distance and angrily storms out. Elsewhere, Robbie tracks down Lonnie.
The story they printed wasn't what I gave them. Now I came here to make things right.
Furious and out of his mind, Flint decides to return to the fold and meets with Silvermane.
You hear we had a traitor in our midst. You never did like Winston, did you?
Meanwhile, sensing Kat's wish to have some company, Ben takes her to his apartment, but once there, he's nervous to host her, as he hasn't had any visitors in years. After searching for a second glass for a few minutes, Ben offers Kat a drink, and the duo starts chatting. Reliving his happy memories in his mind, Ben narrates his story.
The fact is, we never made it to dinner because I was too busy getting... He killed her to make me suffer. He killed her, but...
At the office, seeing how quiet and terrified Lonnie is, and hoping to get him to loosen up, Janet offers to play cards with the men, which soon does as she hoped and helps Lonnie open up.
All I know is that once it starts, it gets worse fast, and there ain't no changing back.
Elsewhere, Silvermane confronts Mayor Alfred and the chief of police at a local hotel.
We've had a good run. Had to end. Flint, say hello to the mayor.
At Ben's apartment, Ben and Kat continue getting to know each other.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be.
A few minutes later, the duo's conversation is interrupted by a shocking alert on the radio.
One of these superpowered monsters is terrorizing the Diamond District.
As soon as Kat storms out, Ben grabs his gear and calls his office.
Grab your camera and head down to the Diamond District right now.
Spider then rushes to the Diamond District, hoping to stop Flint from causing more chaos.
Oh, I thought you were someone else.
Hey, I thought you was dead, huh? What are you doing here?
The man then releases electric current to attack Spider and quickly gains the upper hand.
Holy shit! Do you guys see that? Unbelievable!
As the brutal fight continues, Spider sees the man charging himself and storing electrical power for the fight. Quickly, shuts off the power in the area and defeats him in the ensuing fight.
Still got it.
Yeah, I told you that.
Silvermane won't like this narrative. Ben returns home, and just as he sits down to take a much-needed rest, Kat arrives.
What happened to your face?
Walked into a door.
Just tell me one thing.
Hoping to test her theory, Kat throws herself out of the window, and just as she suspected, Spider rescues her, and the duo kiss. Ben and Kat head to a nearby diner to chat, and Ben recounts what he had seen and how he gained his power in the final days of World War I.
It took some time at first just to relearn how.
During the war, Ben and a couple of soldiers rush inside and find a group of imprisoned soldiers, and after a massive gunfight with the German captors, manage to free them. Then, Ben and a private named Smith continue deeper into the compound and are horrified to see a room full of soldiers being experimented on. Then, Ben approaches one of them and is horrified to see that the soldier has mutated. But before he can react to this, the mutated half-spider soldier bites him.
What do we do?
Burn it. Burn it all.
Afterwards, the soldiers prepare to take a picture of the one Ben had discovered at Flint's home. But Ben, who's disoriented as a result of the bite, is unable to join them and sits on the sidelines to take some rest.
But I managed to suppress them most of the time.
At present, Robbie goes to see his old boss, Walter, with an article he wrote about the spider and his electrifying foe, Dirk Leiden.
It's electricity. He's a conductor.
Oh, no, the issue wasn't one of comprehension.
Robbie then negotiates to get his job back at the Daily Bulge and quietly celebrates his feat at his table. Elsewhere, now Silvermane's right-hand man, Flint, visits Lonnie.
There's room for one more, brother. No offense.
Later at the office, Janet and Robbie share what they have discovered with Ben.
Take a look at these. 4 veterans, all from the same POW camp.
The war ended 15 years ago. The question isn't what happened to them then.
At the alcove, while waiting for Flint, Silvermane chats with Kat.
You feeling a little unappreciated, Finn?
Well, maybe I am. Flint told me a lot about you.
Elsewhere, while Ben cautiously waits to sneak into Dr. Althea's office, Robbie arrives at the hospital, requests to speak to her, and waits for her to join him in the lobby.
Well, I hope that doesn't make me sound callous.
Oh, no, of course not. Your patients turned out to have superpower.
Back in the office, Ben finds the hidden files of the patients, but before he can escape with them, Dr. Althea and Ogden return.
Ogden, could you please escort this gentleman downstairs to Dr. Cullen's office?
I know that man.
What are you talking about?
Later, Ben gets a call from Silvermane and goes to see him.
Congratulations, you've assembled an entire outfield of freaks.
Hiding his shock at the turn of events, Ben casually makes fun of the unusual trio and proceeds to leave.
I know about Winston.
My condolences. Were you too close?
Alarmed by the fact that Flint knows their involvement, a concerned Ben goes to speak to Kat.
All I know is every time he uses his powers, he gets a little closer. What if we left New York, went someplace where nobody knows us?
Excited and reinvigorated by the upcoming move that can give him a chance to escape the dark cloud that's been haunting him since Ruby's death and offer him a fresh start, a joyous Ben meets Janet for breakfast the next morning and updates her.
I'm leaving town.
Permanently?
I think so, yeah, but don't worry.
Elsewhere, looking forward to the potentially life-changing move herself, Kat excitedly packs her stuff and prepares until Lonnie comes to see her, tells her about Flint's worsening condition, and escorts her to see him.
What I did for us.
Oh, maybe it's time I accepted that.
Please, stay away!
Elsewhere, fearing what would happen to them once Robbie publishes his article on their lab, Althea and Ogden pack up their office and proceed to flee.
If you find the spider, are you really able to help him? Do you promise you won't hurt him?
You have my word.
But he swore you to secrecy, Kat. Blissfully unaware that he's been outed as the spider, Ben packs up his belongings and prepares for his trip. Then, as he goes through his drawers, Ben finds a picture of himself with Ruby and nostalgically stares at it, while memories flood him. Ben then forces himself out of his reverie, takes his spider gear from under his bed, and knowing this will be the last time he will see it, quietly goes through it until he hears a knock on his door.
Back in France, you saved my life.
How old are you, really? Truth is, this is a part of me I wish never existed.
However, Ogden swiftly injects Ben with a sedative and, together with Althea, drives him to the doctor's private lab.
Sedated. I'm sure you must feel pretty rotten.
Where am I?
Ben goes into a trance, and all of the pain and struggles of the first few days flash through his mind.
At ease, soldier. Sit.
Ben is mentally transported to Ruby's funeral, and as he remembers each moment, his heart bleeds anew.
Wanted to use you as weapons. I am trying to do the opposite.
Then, Dr. Althea investigates the blood specimen she collected, but is disappointed by the result.
Blood is utterly, completely, maddeningly normal.
Meanwhile, unable to stand his comrade's suffering, Ogden offers Ben some water.
Wow. You were thirsty.
I only did it for the thrill.
Then, while Ben suffers from horrific hallucinations, Althea conducts the tests on the samples she collected during the operation and finally finds a cure for the mutations. To the doctor's utter delight, Ogden starts transforming into his true age.
You did it. You really did it. Oh, little fuckers.
Elsewhere, Silvermane and Flint drive to the doctor's lab.
Be like a young boy on a Christmas morning. We'll have an army nobody can stop, even that goddamn spider.
Meanwhile, while the doctor and Ogden remain occupied, Ben wakes up and, relieved to finally have control of his powers, grabs the keys and unlocks himself. Still groggy from the heavy sedatives, Ben stumbles around the corridors hoping to find his way out.
Don't! Ogden, you were right. You saved my life. Least I can do is try to save yours.
That's quite honorable, Ogden. A few minutes later, just like Ben had predicted, Silvermane and his crew arrive at the laboratory, preparing to take on whatever lies ahead.
How many do you think there are?
Hard to say. There were dozens of us.
Moments later, Ben and Ogden come out of their hiding and proceed on their way out.
I'm not leaving her. She's my mom.
On the other side, Silvermane and his crew find the doctor bottling the antidote.
Okay,
Sorry, I'm just surprised.
because your secret lab's not a secret no more.
Then, as Dirk proceeds to attack the doctor, Ogden arrives and shoots at him. Then, to the shock of everyone who has recognized Ogden as one of their comrades, Dirk brutally kills both the doctor and Ogden in the ensuing battle. Meanwhile, while trying to find his way out, Ben finds the lab, where his personal belongings, including his spider gear, are kept, changes clothes, and as he proceeds to leave, he is surprised to find the small bottle labeled antidote and takes it with him. Then, Dirk sets the building on fire and joins his crew, who run out just in time, while Ben also manages to escape and takes a moment to inspect the antidote closely. Elsewhere, at the alcove, Kat drowns her stress in alcohol until Silvermane and his crew arrive from their trip to the lab.
Goddamn abomination, if you ask me. So go forth and maraud. Make some mischief and mayhem.
The next day, Flint and Dirk ambush Alfred's campaign office, terrify everyone, and rob all of his money.
When you see him, tell our illustrious friend Maury.
A few days later, worried out of her mind for Ben, Kat goes to his office to speak to Janet.
Your hand's on the stove, but I don't know any more than that. Cat. If you hear anything, you can reach me at the alcove.
Elsewhere, as if attempting to drown his sorrows in alcohol, Ben spends hours in a bar, drinking and reflecting on everything.
Right here in the palm of my hand, I hold the antidote.
At the campaign office, Alfred discovers what happened and loses his mind in anger.
But what I want to know is what you plan on doing about it now.
Meanwhile, at the bar, a group of guys comes in and recounts their latest adventure to the bartender.
That guy loves the spotlight more than Morse. He may have missed the spotlight, but he didn't miss the meal.
Annoyed, Ben leaves the club momentarily, but soon returns with his spider mask on and beats and neutralizes all of the men. Later, while Ben enjoys his feat, Robbie comes into the bar searching for him.
What the hell are you doing?
Curing myself.
Who the hell you are?
Hey! Give it back.
Once Ben calms down a bit, Robbie takes him to the office.
You beat up some guys in a bar.
And I beat up some guys in a bar.
Elsewhere, as his condition gets worse, Flint visits Kat.
How it took you a year just to say hello to me?
Before you, I didn't think women like you even existed.
At the office, once his hangover clears, Ben gets to work and starts making plans. Then, a disturbing report comes on the radio.
Do me a favor. Let me talk to him before you swoop in and make it a fight.
Hoping to talk to the poor soldiers who believe they have nothing else to live for, Robbie goes to the warehouse to speak to them and finds Silvermane's men campaigning for Alfred's competitor Hudson and giving away free booze to support their cause.
Save your breath. I'll pick my side. This is how it is now.
Then, a brutal fight ensues between Spider and Lonnie, who has completely misinterpreted Spider's intention. During the fight, Lonnie gets the upper hand and beats Spider terribly. Hoping to end Lonnie's misery once and for all, Spider tries to inject him with the antidote, but fails miserably as the needle bends. Luckily, just as Spider's about to give up, Robbie comes out of nowhere and gives him the medication, which quickly works and instantly cures Lonnie. Seeing Lonnie transforming back and losing his powers, the police, who had no chance against him so far, use the opportunity to attack him. As Lonnie struggles to keep up the fight, Robbie comes with a car, rescues both Lonnie and Spider, and flees the area.
Want to know why I'm helping you out? I owed you one.
Robbie drives to his place and with the help of Lonnie carries Spider inside. And while he rests, Lonnie tries to understand what just transpired.
Oh no, are we still fighting? No. We're good.
Lonnie takes a few minutes to wrap his head around everything that happened and the implications, and suddenly realizes that he has just gotten a second chance in life. Hence, feeling liberated, he proceeds to leave, ready to finally start living. Elsewhere, word gets around quickly, and both the mayor and Silvermane learn about what happened.
Stuck him with one of these. Right in the eye. And with some sweet, oblivious antidote.
This can't end well. After his men leave to search for Ben while spending time with Kat, Silvermane gets the time to reflect on everything that happened.
Never be satisfied. Don't accept what you're given. That's my advice to you.
Kat quietly listens to everything the boss says and, seemingly inspired to take matters into her own hands, waits for him to leave, calls Janet, and asks to see her discreetly.
That's for Ben. Ben put everything on the line for you. And you use that to betray him.
I can make it up to him. If he gives me the antidote, I can inject Flint and Dirk with it.
Elsewhere, together with a couple of Silvermane's men, Dirk and Flint surveil Ben's office, hoping to find him as soon as possible.
Isn't that his secretary? Oh, yeah. She's nice.
Janet gets to the office and finds Frankie waiting to update her.
Robbie says heave, but run through the ringer.
Didn't hear from me. But your boss Riley's in hot water.
Janet hurries back out of the office and rushes to Robbie's place, inadvertently leading Silvermane's crew to Ben.
Alive.
But he still doesn't have his powers back.
A few minutes later, the group arrives at the apartment, and Dirk and Flint bang on the door.
Why do I feel like I've met you before?
Because we have a few nights ago.
Ben is taken to meet Silvermane, who is accompanied by Kat, and seeing Kat, the woman he had planned on starting over with for the first time after her betrayal, distracts him.
You want me to pay you, but you want to continue living after the fact?
Quite troubled by their boss's request, Dirk and Flint hold their breath and await Ben's response.
You'd be wise not to, that's for sure.
Why do you want the spider anyway?
What's the plan here, Ben? Unexpectedly calm for a person in his peculiar situation, Ben gets up and goes to pour himself a drink.
What the hell is going on?
I'm earning myself some traveling money. I'd invite you to join me, but we know how that goes.
Suddenly, Dirk finally realizes where he recognizes Ben from and proceeds to address him.
Just happens to be best friends with the spider.
Silvermane quickly grabs Kat's gun and, seemingly determined to get to the bottom of the matter once and for all, continues.
Cut it out, I'm not in the mood.
Well, I wouldn't think you would be.
I mean it. It's not funny.
Wow, that was bold, Kat. Silvermane quickly turns the gun on Kat, and as he proceeds to pull the trigger, Spider arrives.
Silvermane was just teaching us a lesson about how to kill a defenseless woman.
Then, before Spider can even respond, Silvermane's men barge in with a new prisoner.
Look what you had on her, boss.
Hoping to rob Spider of his powers, Dirk quickly stabs him with the needle and injects the antidote.
Give it here, buddy.
What, these?
Yeah.
Luckily, Ben regains his powers, dons his spider suit, and starts fighting against Dirk, who's become drunk with power and Flint. Soon, a brutal and lengthy fight ensues outside, and to the public's dismay, Dirk overpowers and knocks Spider out. Meanwhile, inside, Kat tracks Silvermane, who tries to flee and catches up with him.
All I did for you. Breaks my heart that you betray me like that.
My one regret is I only get to kill you once.
Outside, Dirk ignores Flint's advice to slow down and continues causing mayhem. Soon, Dirk attacks Kat, who comes outside to help out, which infuriates Flint and turns him against Dirk. Dirk and Flint get into a fight, and Dirk overpowers Flint until Spider, who's had enough of the chaos and back and forth, gets up, attacks Dirk, and manages to throw him onto an incoming train, killing him.
Still have one left.
Why?
You know why.
That's so kind of you, Ben. Later, Ben meets Flint and Kat.
But in a different world, I really would have run away with you. You know that, right?
A few days later, while Janet renovates the office, Ben and Robbie watch Alfred, who's won his second term, make a speech from the office balcony. Then, the phone rings, and Janet rushes to answer it.
You know what? You're in luck. We just had a cancellation for 2 p.m.
As the trio proceeds to leave for breakfast and Janet and Robbie step out ahead of him, Ben stays back for a moment to appreciate how far he's come and, having found a new perspective, finally looks forward to his future and his partnership with Janet.